come inside. So I got this display from, this is from I don't remember the year, I think it's 2013 or something, microcar MC2. This is the dash display. It's supposed to show the speed and the amount of fuel. There is a clock and some other information, but it doesn't light up, and it's very strange because when I put power on here, it boots up, and when it boots up it lights up, but after that it goes dark. I can see that it's still showing the information, but the light doesn't light up. So the lights themselves, they are working. I can see that somebody has been here and done some repair work before on that pin, that pin, that pin, and that pin, and perhaps even that pin. But those are none of those are actually the pins in question here, because the pins in question here is the ground pin that's right there, and the power pin is right there, and then we have another power pin right there, and none of those seem to have any afterwork done to them. But as you can see, there are 3 lights, 1, 2 and 3, and the power goes from that pin directly down to the light there, all of them. But there's no light on it when it's going, or when it's what's it called, when it's running, but it works, as I said, because it lights up when it's or it doesn't work, but it lights up anyway when I put power on it for a brief moment, and then it goes off again, and then it stays off. So I'm a little bit confused here why it doesn't stay on, because I believe the light should be lit all the time when the key is on. So there should be direct power to the 3 lights, and that's from the pin number 1 here. That one. That should give power directly to the lights, and it also gives power to the main board. There you can see it. You saw it? Do it again. Power, it lights up and it boots. And then it goes out and it doesn't come on again for some reason. So here I am, and it's back in its place in the car because I have fixed it. Here you can see it's lighting up as it should. You can see the speed, the distance, the time, but the clock is not set at this point. I need to still set that. You have the fuel meter there, but it's lighting up just as it should. And how did I fix it then? Well, it was pretty easy. After doing all that checking, I realized that everything is working, but there is some kind of contact problem. So I ended up using some electric contact oil on the 2 contacts on the back there, and I mounted it back, and now it works just fine. Now the clock is set also, so now everything is just fine. So if I turn this off like that and then turn it back, then we have the time also. So everything is okay now. Let's go on to the next one.
So this next part here is me laying down some stone in front of a garage. It's not a massive area, but it's still a job. And here you can see how I did it.
then, guys, girls, boys, another successful job. So what I did here, I put these stones down. They were here once before. They did something under here and they needed them gone, so they took them away. They did the work they wanted to do, and then they wanted them back. Here's the old stones. This area is old area, and from there to there is the new area. And here is the garage door, and there is the way out to the road. So this was a quick and easy job, and now it's done. So now it's time to go do something completely different. Okay, this next part is about cameras, or not rather the cameras, more the a camera holder. I always wanted myself one of those steady, what they call it, steady cam, steady thing, gyroscope holder for the cameras. But I think they are a little bit too expensive. So instead, I thought I would try to build myself my own. So I bought this. This is a drone thing of some kind. It was cheap. It's from China. So let's see what it is. Well, it looks like this, and it's a 2-axle. You have this axle and you have this axle. Gyroscope, or not gyroscope, it's stabilizer, and it has its own mainboard down here. So I thought I would use this to make myself my own steady, let's call it steady cam holder or whatever it's called. I don't know exactly, but something like that. Sorry for that. So my plan here is that I won't do so much with this one. I can tell you a little bit about it. It has the sensor mounted right there and the mainboard mounted right here. And the mainboard has some features. It's programmable through a USB cable there, and it has direct power here. And then you have this accessory cable here, where you also can get power, but you can also control the 2 axles with this if you have some kind of controller for it. But I don't intend to use any controller for it, so this won't be used at all. Instead, I'm only gonna use the power part of this one, and then I'm gonna use the manual programming option you have here, and that's using this little button down there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there, and it's for manual programming and calibrating option. And with this, it came with a bottom plate that's gonna sit right there. And this is the plate I'm gonna use to mount it. So I have done myself the favor of making some parts. This is an ordinary used PVC pipe that I cut to length so it fits my hand. I also took a piece of the pipe and straightened it out and made a small little lid like this. So I'm gonna use the pipe, I'm gonna set the lid on top, I'm gonna screw this bottom plate onto that lid like that, and there we have it. That's the parts I'm gonna use here for that part. Then we need power, and for power I have these small LiPo batteries. I have many kinds of them, but this one is good in size. So I'm gonna use this one because this one fits very easily in the handle like that. And the cables here are coming up. I'm gonna make myself a slot here on the side, so the cables are gonna come up on the side like that. And this is power for the main board, and this one is for charging. So I will be able to charge it because this will be mounted in here pretty permanently. And I'm gonna use some foam. This is also a used piece of foam. This is a previous, it has been an installation on a water pipe. So I cut myself a piece of it like this. And I'm gonna cut an even smaller piece because I'm gonna put it around the battery like that. And then I'm gonna push the piece down into the tube here, so this will hold the battery in place, and it does that very good. I can feel that already now. So that's what I'm gonna use. So for the building part here, This camera is just for testing then, because this is an old camera, so I don't use that. I can't use the GoPro obviously, because I can't film and test at the same time. So I have this old camera here that's just for testing. So what I'm gonna do right now is that I'm gonna cut myself the slots on this small piece, so I can get the cables out. So perhaps I will do one here and one on the opposite side, so I can take the power lead out of one and the charge cable out of the other one. So I will be back when I have done that. There you have the two slots, and I think those are good enough. Yes. So now we need to cut ourselves some foam. So let's see if we can do that also. Like that. And we need a piece, something like that. I believe that's good enough. And then we want it to go around it like that. Then we want this in here. Perhaps we need to take a little bit less. Let's see what we get for. Okay. I should probably just take enough to get around it. Sorry, wrong way, like that. Let's try that. I obviously have enough, so I can do some wrong cutting here. That doesn't matter if it's not. If this doesn't work, I can do myself a new one. Maybe I need to make myself two pieces. Let's see if this will fit. Yeah, now it's starting to. The battery down, or there we have it. It's going down, and it's really in there. Yes, that won't come loose. I think we need to go just a little bit more like that. So then we have the lid. It's gonna go like that. But before I mount the lid, I need to mount this part. And for that to work, I need to have clearance. So it needs to go down even more. Like that. This one. Like so. I need to make myself a little slot here, like that. Something like that. And then we need to get this one on here. Without pinching the cables. So the next part is actually to get some heat in the glue gun. So let's test if we can get this working. I'm just using an old used camera here. There is not even a battery in it right now. I should probably put one in it for the weight, but I'm gonna test without first. So you put the camera like that, you take this part, just tighten it up like that. What I'm tending to do here is to make myself a switch on the side here, so I don't need to connect and disconnect these two leads here every time. So I just do that. There it goes. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that seems to work pretty much perfect. And as I said, if I need to change the angle here, there is a small button 3 times like that. Boop, it's just like that. Then I can put a new angle in like so. Then it calibrates itself. Then you have the new angle. I didn't choose the freeway version of this is because it will hold it steady like that, and it will hold it steady like that. The third function is the turning function, and I don't want the turning function because I want to be able to turn it myself wherever I want to. If I have the turning function, I need to have a controller that makes it controllable with a joystick or something, so I can turn it up, down, side to side. I will check around if there is some kind of simple controller I could put on this, but I would like to be able to change the angle up like so with a joystick here. But otherwise it seems to work just perfectly. What I will do now is that I will mount you on here, and I will go out and film something so you can see this in action. Okay, let's do that. So I will do this in 2 parts. The first part here is me just holding the camera and walking around. I have some machines here. This one you have seen before. As you can see here, now I'm just holding the camera with my hand, and we're gonna see the difference. We can go close as we have done before, and we can go check the excavator here. Here's the bucket. There's water in the bucket, and we can walk around it like this just to see. And here you can see again just me holding the camera in my hand. So I think that's enough. I will go switch over to the Steadicam. So here I am with the Steadicam. You tell me, is it better, or is it just as here you can probably see me having the Steadicam in my hand? I'm really curious to see if this is making any difference, or if it's just a dud. So there's the one machine. Let's turn over to this machine and see if it does any difference here. I went here before. I showed you that I'm holding the camera here, there. You can see that it's the Steadicam very easily. Let's go to this side. Let's check out the bucket here. There is the bucket. Let's just walk over to my tractor here to see how that will look if I walk. Is it jumpy? Here is the tractor. You can see me probably in the shadow here doing some filming like that. And let's walk over to this side. Here you have the back end of the tractor. Let's go back like this. This we have filmed before. Is it looking better than before if I do this? You remember when I fixed this did an emergency repair there? That's what we did. We have another repair we have done on this. That's over on this side. That was when we filmed that one over there. It's the heater. Here's the new cable. It goes into the cab, and inside the cab we have the new button over there. So, what do you think? Was this better, or was it just as bad as before? Sorry, I'm tilting a little bit much here. Let's see if we can do a walk again. The walk of shame. So, we're almost back where we started. Here's the Bobcat again. So, tell me, please comment and tell me, was this better than having it in my hand and using the built-in stabilizer, or should I use this one in the future instead? Please do that. Put it in the comments. What do you think? I'm curious to find out. Okay, that's it for now. Okay, another odd one here. Many of you probably don't know what you're even looking at here. Well, that's understandable, because this was a thing back in the, I believe, 70s, 80s, maybe 90s. It's a Harada retractable motorized car antenna. So it can go out and in with the motor. And why is it here then? Well, there is obviously some problem with it. First it didn't work at all, and I did some analytics in here, and I found some rust on some contacts, and I fixed that. Now the motor runs, but it doesn't go all the way out with the antenna, and it doesn't retract the antenna. There is something happening inside of this lid. Let's go in. And here we are. This is the inside of a elongated gear running. That's actually what's winded up here, like that. This is a gear, a long gear. Inside of here, and it runs against this wheel here, and that wheel is driven like that by this motor and that worm gear somehow underneath of here. Exactly. The worm gear drives this plastic gear here, and this just runs up inside of here like that. So the problem lies in the antenna part, not the driven part. I have this one. Let's see if we can get the top nut off here, like that. Will that clear the, yes it does. Then we have small Then we have this one, then we have that one, and finally we have that one. And there comes the tube, like that. And here is the antenna part. Now I have it. Now it goes really smooth in and out all the way. I can show you because I don't have the room here to extend it all the way, but I show you it goes really smooth all the way in and out. So I think that fixes that problem. Now I need to mount everything back again. Back like that, and then this needs to go in here after it, like that, I believe, like so. And then we had the big gear here. It was sitting in some orientation that I don't remember which one it was. I have to look at that later. And then I had this small wheel sitting on sorry, everything is flying around here, on that pin right there, and this one was pushed in there like that, and then this one was sitting over it like so. Now we have to check that the parts over here are in the correct orientation also, like so. Perhaps we can just twist it in place like that. Over it, and this part was down there sticking out on this side, and this one had a nut like that one on it, bigger, so that one should be here, absolutely, and then there should be one more over there that goes there. The ground cable was on that one, and we had a nut on that one also, like that. So I will go and test this to see if it works better now. I'm gonna try to drive this antenna out and in here, so we're gonna test it. Let's take it out. Is it all the way out? I believe so. Yes. Then let's take it in again. Perfect. So now I have myself a working motorized antenna that I can mount on my truck. We can go take a peek at the truck. So then, here is the truck. Either there or perhaps even there or there, somewhere in that area. That will be more cool than having it sitting like on there and going up. But I think I will have it there somewhere and go up. Yeah, that's it. Hello there everybody. Today I'm gonna take some contact No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna talk about batteries and namely battery cables, but in this case I'm gonna talk about the clamps mostly and the connection to them. Have you ever find yourself in the situation that you put your start cables on your batteries and they start to smoke? Well, what's happening there? Is it the cable that doesn't cope and start smoking just for no reason? No, usually not. Usually it's the clamps. Either you have bad contact on the clamp to the battery terminal, or most likely you have bad contact between the clamp and the cable that it's sitting in. And this is a battery tester I have here, and this one has just that problem. And if we look into the clamp here, we can see some pitting in the bottom there. That's burning due to it have been burnt there. And that means it has bad contact here. But it's situated on that hole there. This clamp, this ring terminal goes on that in that hole there. So it's not the actual terminal. It's actually just where the cable meets the terminal. That's where the problem is. And if we look at it, you can see that. Wait a minute. And if we look at it right here, we can see that this area has been burned. There is some burning going on here because there is bad contact. So what can we do to eliminate this problem then? Well, we need to get better contact between the cables and the ring terminal, and we probably need a better ring terminal. This is some alloy of some type. I don't think that's the best material to use for ring contact on battery clamps. I think it's better to use copper. Copper is a better conductor, and that will also give better contact to the cable, and it will be even better contact to the clamp. And the clamp itself is made of a copper alloy, so that will give better overall contact to have copper against copper, because the cable is copper, the clamp is a copper alloy. Then we need a copper alloy or a copper ring terminal to make it as good as it can be. And when we have it as good as it can be, there shouldn't be any problems like this. This shouldn't happen if you have good contact. I have already done my other side. I had the same problem here. I have used it for some while now, and the problem is eliminated here. So now I want to eliminate it here. And we can even see on the cover here that there has been burning inside of here that has stained the rubber grommet, or whatever it should be called. So I will make myself some new ring terminals, and I will clamp them on here, or solder them on here rather, and I will show you how you make your own ring terminals for free almost. So let's go. So there we have it. We have two good clamps again. I fixed this as you saw, and now it should work for testing again. So we have 12.5 volts in this battery, and this is a 720, but we are gonna drive it at 600. So let's do the test and see if it smokes. No, it does not. And this time it's not even hot. That meaning that we have good contact here and here, and no resistance, and the tester also works better, gives the correct values when you don't have a lot of resistance in the connections. But there is no heat at all, so it's working just fine. And this battery is not good, but it's still okay. So that's all for that.